Orioles, Diamondbacks facing off, two of the youngest stars in baseball and the current reigning Rookie of the Years. Corbin Carroll in the National League, Gunnar Henderson in the American League. Both tremendous players. Going to break down a little bit about this series and then what's been going on with Corbin Carroll, as well as a familiar face to the Orioles system that people might have forgotten about that's off to a great start this season, and also the Adley-Rutschman breakdown, right? So that's what we are going to do. So the D-backs, despite going to the World Series last year, obviously they didn't win a ton of games. They got hot at the right time. But right now it hasn't been smooth sailing for them. So why don't we take a deep dive into this? Hum now. All right, freeze. So you might look at this right now. This is runs per game. So when you look at this, and there we go. Whew. All right, runs per game. And you can see on this board, it's nice being near the top, right? Dodgers number 1, Baltimore number 2 with averaging over 5.19 runs per game. But look at this. Arizona's sitting at 5. So you're sitting there going, well, why are the Diamondbacks then struggling so much if they're putting up a lot of runs? It's a fair question to ask, right? Well, maybe this next slide will be a good indication of what's been going on. All right, so whoosh, whoosh. There it is. So Boston obviously having a great start to the season, as we can see, and so is, Yankees up there. Is it ironic that 3 of the top 6 teams in the American League East are also 3 of the top 6 ERAs in all of baseball? Orioles sit at 3.30, which again, I know this Orioles team, it's terrible, right? Pitching wise, that's kind of the MO that we were hearing for a little bit, but they've been tremendous. But this is the biggest difference. It's kind of hard to see. I couldn't even fit them on the entire screen, but the Diamondbacks sit at 22nd in the league, giving up 4.3 runs per game, and that's the hugest difference. And one thing I wanted to show or point out is that the Diamondbacks offense actually isn't a team that's been having their runs come via the home run. It's really been kind of middle of the pack in that regard. As we know, the Orioles are leading baseball in the home run department here. So context here, the success and all the moves that they made in the offseason hasn't turned out so far for the pitching staff. Now, specifically, a guy that struggled at the plate here is Corbin Carroll. And this is Corbin Carroll's actual hitting chart from last year. And this is all courtesy of Baseball Savant. If you like baseball, go check out Baseball Savant. Again, this isn't a sponsorship. I just love their stuff because you get to get a full understanding of what's happening here, okay? So you guys have heard me talk about this before. Really damn good hitters use the whole part of the field. This is Corbin Carroll's year when he won Rookie of the Year. I mean, Zach, he's spraying the ball, right?
All sides of the field.
All sides of the field. This is what makes a hitter great. And you can see there's a lot of good to like here so far in 2023. Sprint speed, obviously, he likes to think he's one of the fastest guys in all of baseball. But here's the 2024 spray chart to start. And he's been off to a rough start. We'll get into a little bit more on the numbers of it. But you can see not a lot of extra base hits. Not a lot of overall success. I mean, those are all of his total hits so far this year. And for a guy that's able to drive the ball and even speed's part of his game, no triples on the season, but you can see hard hit percentage down, sweet spot percentage down. Those two numbers to me, and barrel percentage, those 3 I look at the most when I look at all of it, because the goal every time you hit is how hard you can hit the ball consistently. Right now, he's not having that, and he's not squaring the baseball up on this beautiful part of the bat right here, on the sweet spot is what it's called, Kevin. And you would agree. I can see you nodding your head. You're a good kid. But, oh no, Kevin's gone. And he's gone. So this was me elaborating a little bit more on Corbin Carroll, okay? So I'm going to keep moving over here for a second. Look, 285 last year, 362 OBP, slugging, 506, speaks for itself. 25 home runs, 54 stolen bases, like complete players. A big reason why they extended him. So far this season, hitting 201. Should we send him down, Zach?
Get rid of him.
Get rid of him?
He's not a major league player.
Well, we'll see how that pays off here. I think they'll stick with him because he's tremendously talented. But you can see he's really off to a slow start, and things really haven't come together yet for Corbin Carroll. For Orioles fans, you hope that it doesn't. But in 2 of his last 3 games, going into when we're making this video, he had at least 2 hits. So we'll see if he's starting to get going. So here's an example of what he's done well this year. And again, I think this is what makes Corbin Carroll the most successful, is his ability to stay on the ball and drive it the other way. And you're going to see this pitch. He's going to get a pitch away or kind of middle away. And when you're facing a lefty, you'd want to stay on the ball as long as possible because you have the tendency, if you heard me in the past, you want to go, well, wait a minute. This guy's throwing at me. I feel like the ball's coming at me. I got to move out of the way. No. You got to try to stay on it, stay direct. Why? If you stay more direct, good things can happen. And a great thing happens here. High heater, dude. Like, that's way up there, and that's way gone. Well, I shouldn't say way gone. It's gone enough to get on the board and for Corbin Carroll to have a home run. Another example, he's going to get a pitch away here, okay? Not a bad pitch. Going to be on the outside part of the plate, really almost on the black. But when you stay on the baseball and you're looking to drive the ball and do damage, big part of the field. Again, I'm going to emphasize it. Big part of the field. Good things can happen. That's not a bad pitch. And that, again, that is the actual second pitch of the game. And if I'm Quantrill, I'm kind of ticked off because I'm like, damn, I painted that on the black and you just shot this ball down the line. Now, granted, you're playing in Colorado, so that ball kind of flies. But great swing by Carroll. He's feeling good. Another example here, he's going to get a pitch middle part of the plate. Again, staying on the lefties really well. He's going to go play Pepper and go shopping at the gap there in Colorado. That's Corbin Carroll. That's what makes him successful. But this is the problem that I've seen so far with Carroll, is that the consistency hasn't been there. So for Orioles fans, when you're looking at it, you could see so far, if you saw that home run, Carroll got the pitch high. But you're going to see in some of these videos, they're going to challenge Corbin with heaters up, or they're going to try to make him come off the baseball. So in this case right here, it's actually going to be a missed spot, but Carroll's going to leak out a little bit. Bat head's going to get slow. So for me to explain when the bat head gets slow. So imagine if we're saying if you're trying to go, I try to tell people, if you're going A to B, right? That's the quickest you can possibly be. But if you got to open up a little bit and now this motion isn't going A to B, it's almost like an A, B, C. That hair of a difference slows down your bat path, makes it a little bit harder. So he's going to get a pitch in, not a great swing, jammed, off the hands, out. Another example here from a lefty. He's going to get a pitch more middle in. Instead of staying through the ball, kind of softly hit right there to India, get the out there. Here's a heater. He's going to get right down the middle. And another thing, Zach, what was one thing that we were watching with Corbin Carroll? This is how he hits every year. But what's something that happens with his batting stance?
So interestingly enough, usually you see a guy do some sort of a toe tap or they do a leg kick. Corbin Carroll does both, which is really interesting. So me and Rip were looking at that before. So
here's an example. So there's the leg kick, okay? And again, there's nothing, you can do both. And hitters sometimes like to do the tendency, but sometimes you think, all right, maybe toe tap with 2 strikes so it's less movement, and a leg kick when it's not 2 strikes. But in this case, he's going to do the leg kick with 2 strikes, 2-2. So ball's right down the middle, and he's out. And I actually want to rewind that one just a hair for a second. So that's a pitch he thinks he can swing, but look how his body, he normally falls out this way, but it's almost like when he goes to swing, the ball's going to the catcher's glove. His head kind of feels like in his body's kind of falling out that way, right? Here's the roll. And it's like, man, that momentum's taking him that way. Now, granted, he does finish outside like that, but when you're not feeling good, the more that you fall away. Actually, who's that remind you of that was falling away from the baseball? He was in Baltimore and he's having some struggles. He got sent down.
Little Jackson Holiday.
Exactly. So just the context of it. It's a little thing. Jackson also has a tendency of that, but it's just a little thing to keep in mind. All right. Here's that leg kick again. They're going to go high fastball again. They're going to try to challenge him. And they do. Heater up. Once again, you want to guess where this pitch is going to be? Zach.
Heater up.
So you're looking at this right now. Catcher's glove, he's saying, hey, give me that high target. We want to attack up high. They're attacking up high. He likes to go chase it. He pops out. And again, that's just kind of what's happened or what's gone wrong for Corbin Carroll. And also to give you guys on that home run pitch that he had, I just wanted to show that real quickly. He toe taps here, just so you guys can understand what we're talking about. He switches it up. Toe tap. One more time. A little toe tap. It's like a Kevin toe tap, right? He's had success doing both. I just wanted to point it out there to give context, okay? Now, here's just something I wanted to say. There's a player when I said that there was a connection to Baltimore. It's Christian Walker. If you guys remember him, he was the 4th-round pick of the Baltimore Orioles back, I forget which year it was. Zach, do you remember the year?
Long time ago.
Well, I wouldn't say, well, for you, maybe a super long time ago, but he's been around, and quite unfortunately for him, the guy that was playing first base for the Baltimore Orioles was Chris Davis. They also had Trey Mancini. They made a choice to rock with those two guys, and Chris Davis had some great years. Can't deny any of that. So did Trey Mancini. Walker goes to Arizona, finds his groove, and is actually one of the best power bats and best first baseman out there in the game. But I just want to show you some highlights for him, because right here he's going to get a slider. See you later. This is a guy that can do a lot of damage for this team. This is kind of their catalyst. He's going to hit in the middle of that order, and he can't blow a fastball by him here either. He's going to get a fastball two-seamer running in. He stands off the plate too, so you're not going to see him get his hands blown up. Run of a two-seam fastball, and this ball is absolutely hammered. Big ball. Souvenir for the kids. This Orioles team, there's a lot to like, but don't sleep on the Arizona Diamondbacks, because this guy can get going in a second, and he can impact the game almost just as much as this guy. I'm still taking this guy, by the way. But keep that in mind. Should be a great series. And now let's go.